Well, some figures that Chief Femi-Fani-Kayode would not agree with is the fact that Obasanjo left 2,700 megawatts, $16 billion spent on power. But really, these are some of the figures that we have. Power improved for the first time to 4,000 megawatts under President Goodluck Jonathan. Those are the figures which you actually...
Permit me to respond to that. And may God forgive the late Yaradua and forgive all those. And I say this with all sincerity of purpose. May God forgive all those, all of you, that have said Obasanjo spent 16 billion US dollars on the oil, on the power sector. That is number one, because it's a lie. And when he was probed, he was brought before the probe panel. Go and find out what the findings were. The truth of the matter is that he ended up spending no more than, 6 billion was appropriated, 3 billion was released. Go and check. The minister of, former minister of power, Lili Mokwe, is now the governor of Cross River State. He's a loyal member of the PDP. He's still in the PDP, and he's with Goodluck Jonathan. I will put it to you to go and ask him the veracity of the figure that Yaradua came up with. When he was questioned by his own special advisor on power about those figures that they pushed out, the man was immediately sacked and was told he was questioned publicly. So may God forgive those that say that. Secondly, may God forgive those that will say, because you read it in the newspaper and you assume it's true, that we were generating 2,000. I have no reason to come here to tell you a lie. I'm not particularly enamored with some of the people that were in power, even under Obasanjo's government. I won't say Obasanjo himself. So I won't come here to tell you a lie. All right? Go and check it well. Don't rely on newspaper reports by a journalist that may not even know what he's writing. I could read a newspaper tomorrow that says you're bald. And that doesn't mean it's true. Do the research. You also disputed one or two other figures. I stand by those figures. And I say what you're putting out, or what you're suggesting as fact, is simply not true. Now, we can go on about that all night, but we could move on if you like. But for me, the general point is this. Things were far better in 2007 than they were in 1999, and things are far worse today than they were in 2007. You said the first time that we hit 4,000 was under. This is an absolute and complete lie, even by their own. Talk to Donyo Kupe, my good friend and Egbo. Talk to him. Even he has not made this absurd assertion that we reached 4,300 megawatts. I make the point, and I say that since that time that Obasanjo left office, no government has been able to reach that. Now, I'm also saying that wasn't perfect. We could have done a lot more. I wish we had done a lot more. And I wish the PDP, after he left, did a lot more. We'd be very happy, be clapping for ourselves and say, this is the legacy we left. This is the people that we put in power and supported, and they're doing so well. Unfortunately, that is not the reality on the ground. The reality is that we're heading for disaster in terms of economy. We haven't even spoken about security yet. We're heading, these are people that, children were killed the following day. They had a big party in the centenary ball, and everybody was dancing. You need to understand the kind of government we're dealing with. But having said all that, it's not all about criticizing. It's far more about, providing an alternative, which is where I think you're heading, and we'll go there.
Just a moment. I mean, we're talking about the capacity of, that's even, in fact, the issues now, because what journalists have reported and the figures that we have is not exactly a figment of, someone's imagination. They are the figures that are out there of the reality that we saw.
You can believe what you read in the Punch newspaper. That's okay. You can believe what you read there. Can I also say this? You can believe that if you like. Can I also say this? $3.5 billion US was spent by Obasanjo on oil subsidy in the period that he was there, in 8 years. In the last 3 years, we've spent $3.5 trillion under this government. I suppose that's an achievement. I suppose they're cooked up figures as well. These are facts. Live with them. Accept them. And then we now change it and build on them.
All right, just a moment. Quickly, because, these are issues that are very important, and I wouldn't want us to stand on the side of the pitch. I would like someone to come in now on the line, on the telephone, so that we can have an understanding of what we're talking about. Just a moment. Just a moment. Chief Femi-Kayode, just a moment. Joining us on the line from Abuja now is Dr. Catch Ononuju. Thank you for joining us on the program. You're listening and you're watching what Chief Femi-Fani-Kayode has said about the achievement of, I'm bringing you in because we're talking about the achievement of President Jonathan. Now, can you tell us what are your views and your take on PDP performances?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I would like to state that Femi, my friend, It's a former member of the PDP. Our problem with Femi has to do with the issues of corruption. There are issues that cannot be condoned by a national government. We found that Femi committed a lot, as you can hear as he was speaking. When he was appointed and they were going out of government, they did not believe they were appointed to work on behalf of the Nigerian people. They committed a lot to the extent that 15 billion that was expended on issues regarding electricity, Nigerians saw none. So right now we're trying to actually sort the truth. And in trying to resolve those issues, you must ask questions about the past. And Femi-Fani-Kayode knows very well, for all the monies that he was given to him, the aviation sector remained moribund. And for all the money that was released under him, the aviation sector didn't record anything. It is on note that even without money being appropriated by National Assembly, the present government went on to do a lot. But today, virtually, Nigerians could see the project aimed towards turning airports into mini cities. The Aerotropolis project had commenced and are successful across the country. Now, we are not talking about the political issues. We've gotten to a point nationally where we have seen that our attempt at political construction couldn't work because the soldiers who did manage political engineering were not very honest in their situation. That's why the government has asked for a conference where Nigerians can come together, talk, and recalibrate intentions towards rebuilding the protocols for our association.
All right. Dr. Catch Ononuju, I just wanted to bring you in just for a moment so that you can react to some of the things that we are. I'm planning to bring you back as a discussion after my discussion with Chief Femi-Fani-Kayode. I need to bring him in so that he can react. We cannot have a discussion where where all these are being said and we don't have a reaction.
First of all,
balance, that's the order of the day. We're talking about the APC's capacity. Now, the idea is that from all that has been listed by your party as a roadmap, I want you to listen to Dr. Obieze-Kwesili. Because one of the major, just a moment.
No, your person that just spoke raised some issues, and I insist you allow me to respond to that.
All right,
especially since this was not the format that we agreed on, because I'm very sensitive to this sort of thing. I feel as if I've been ambushed, but that's fair enough. I'm up to the task, and I will respond to that. He said monies were made available, nothing was there to show for it. When I was in office, 19.5 billion naira aviation intervention was released to me. That's the only money I had. And 8.5 of that was spent before I got there. I was given 11 billion, which is what was left. At the end of the day, I spent 3.8 billion. I built Port Harcourt runway. I built the second runway in Lagos, 18LR in Lagos, and I built also an apron cargo. I spent 3.8 billion naira, and I left 7.2 billion in the account. It's never happened before in the history of aviation in this country. And those things that I did are there for everybody to say. So for this man to come and say what he said about that is absolutely absurd and quite unacceptable. It is not true. Secondly, he spoke about so many other things. I couldn't even hear what he was saying. But if we're to have a debate, I'm more than happy to have the debate with any Minister of Aviation under Goodluck Jonathan, particularly the former one that just left, or anyone that's coming in, or my tenure in office, and in that person's tenure in office, and then we can compare. I thought